Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev Briz and Rev Z and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the New Thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you over here.
Rev Z right here.
And this is Ministers Talking Shit for March 20th. Oh my gosh, here we are. 2026. Another month has flown by and winter is done. Spring is here. 80 degrees here in Denver yesterday, folks. Yeah, I know. The heat dome has arrived, as they say. That's what they're calling this week's weather here around here, the heat dome. And ski areas are closing all over the West. So if you didn't get out skiing this year, you're not gonna. Not unless you go to Vermont. Vermont's got lots of snow.
What a concept, man. You know, for the last, 5 to 10 years, this whole idea of climate change or whatever has been discussed and debated and downplayed, and now it's undeniable that something is changing, whether it's climate change or universal patterns or combination of both. It is apparent. It is going to be, let me put it this way. It is projected in Denver, Colorado tomorrow to be 90 degrees.
On the first day of spring.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 90 degrees. Now, I'm from Florida. And I'm from North Florida. It don't even get 90 degrees in North Florida in April.
Oh, yeah. I would, I have to agree. The climate is changing. Whether you want to call it global warming, whether you want to call it this or that or the other thing, we've seen it. I've been in Colorado just under, about 18 years now. We got here in 2008. So not quite 2 decades in Colorado, and the climate has changed.
Oh.
The patterns, the amount of snow we get every year, and Colorado, we already enacted, the governor enacted drought protocols yesterday or the day before. I saw this, that we enacted drought protocols because snowpack is down and it's not predicted to rain for a while at this point. So
not at all.
It's here. Yeah, we have humans. We have a great way of denying what's right in front of our faces sometimes. So,
yeah.
And
speaking of, there's so much in the news today. I don't even know if we're gonna have time to touch it all, because you have the controversy, if you will, of Cesar Chavez and his misgivings, and how do we deal with that, and how do we separate the good from the man, if you will. We have our president and they're now asking for $200 billion to support a war that nobody wanted, that it's coming out now that nobody thought it should be enacted. Yet we have gas prices at the highest they've ever been in recorded gas prices, not to mention the whole Epstein file still ain't came out. Pam Bondi now is going to the courts, and now some people are backpedaling that. And then in the midst of it all is March Madness.
We should start a bracket. Which celebrity will be named in the Epstein files next? We can pair up a bunch of different celebrities from different places and work our way to the center to figure out who's going to be.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. But think about it. I mean, you know, how fitting the two things go together. March Madness and all of the things that are going on in our society and in our world, that we need to begin to be discerning when we look at them to determine how we move forward.
Yeah. No. It's, and you just hit on the big word of the decade, discernment. And we talk about that a lot here on this program, folks. So, you know, please feel free to chime along, chat along, drop a comment as we go along here today. But the discernment of what to pay attention to and what not to. Mm-hmm. And let's start with our top story. You just mentioned it, right? Cesar Chavez, named by longtime compatriot collaborator Dolores Huerta. Dolores is 95, and ABC News has reported that Dolores has come forward with credible evidence, I guess you say, credible story, that she was sexually assaulted by Cesar Chavez and fathered two of his children, which she gave up for adoption, or it didn't actually say adoption, but that she gave up to be raised with other families. So we haven't heard anything about who these children are, or if they've been made aware that they are actually descendants of Cesar Chavez. And cities across the nation, Denver included, have already begun to remove his name from city parks, have begun to cancel holiday celebrations in his name. Colorado has already renamed the state holiday to Farm Workers Day, and in some ways, we were talking about it, Z. There needs to be a reckoning from the celebrity to the cause itself. And we're going to see that here, right? In decades, Cesar Chavez will be a footnote, but Farm Workers Day will be a federal holiday. So we're going to shift the focus, which seems appropriate in light of what we know now. And as we were talking about, we don't want to throw away the good work that was done. I would love to believe that Dolores Huerta could have been the name associated with the farm workers movement. And at the time that it happened, at the time this was going on, it would have been hard pressed to have a woman at the head of that organization. So for all his flaws, his charisma did the job that needed to be done. But it makes it tough. We have to face folks, and we have to face the future generations and say, yes, we platformed a man who, again, until we knew differently, we platformed a man who, once again, one of our heroes has feet of clay.
Yeah. I mean, you know, not to be glib about it, but Jesus, the master teacher, said, he who without sin cast the first stone. Now, we know, as we were saying before we got on, stealing a candy bar out of the grocery store when you're 12 and doing something like is being reported by Dolores with Chavez is two totally different things. But I think what we don't want to miss is we live in a principled universe, right? And the principle is if you stick your hand in fire, you will get burned. I don't care what kind of Jedi mind tricks you use to not feel the pain or all that's good. That's a whole nother principle. But the principle of if you stick your hand in fire, you get burned. Now, the same thing here, as you just said. In the beginning, I think it never should be Chavez Day. It should have been Farm Workers Day from the very beginning, because all the spiritual teachers teach. Jesus, the master teacher, said, it's not me who doeth the work, it's the Father within me. Don't put me on no pedestal. It is the creative universe, the creative intelligent source of the universe that's doing all the good thing, right? All the good is from the creator. All the things that are amiss are from me, and I'm not perfect, and I'm trying to get there. So that's what we focus on, the creative impetus to move humanity forward. And hopefully we learn after the last couple of things that this is what we do. I mean, this is the second or third time we've taken down a holiday on somebody because of something they've done.
Yep. It definitely is interesting times.
and here's the selectiveness of it. We talked about it in the green room. We have enough of that same type of material on our current administrative leader, and he's still leading us into a war that requires $2 billion more while people are suffering. And I'm just reading that, one of the goals was to close down the educational department, right? And now they can't do that because that takes an act of Congress. And so now they're moving to 1.7 trillion or whatever it is, bunch of money over to the Treasury to just cripple it with no money, as opposed, because they can't close it legally. I mean, this kind of stuff is crazy. And we're going to take down his day.
Yeah. No, we're going to give him a gold coin, right? A man of color, a man of, I believe Caesar was Mexican descent, a man of color, we're going to cancel and take away the parks, but a white guy, we're going to give him a gold coin.
Yes.
It was announced yesterday, I believe, that the Treasury Department has been given a green light to mint a gold commemorative coin for the U.S.'s 250th birthday, which is this year, I guess. And and they're going to mint a gold coin. I saw one comment that said, "Did you mean to make him look like Epstein?" It's not a very flattering image of Trump on this gold coin that the image that I saw. So yeah, they should put the backside of that should be the Epstein files on the backside of that coin. But your point is well taken, right? And I've heard enough of, the left are the aggressors and the left are the violent ones. And Cesar Chavez, if he's been a hero of one side, it would be the left. And the liberal side of life immediately moved to say, okay, we're not going to celebrate the man any longer, but we will continue to celebrate a convicted 34 count felon as president. It's gotten ridiculous. And while we're there, I've got a couple of really bonehead statements of the week. Trump's got one, and the CEO of Southwest Airlines has the other. So which one do you want first? You want Trump or do you want Southwest?
Let's end with Trump. Start with Southwest.
Okay. The CEO of Southwest this week, if you're not aware, folks, the new rules that Southwest Airlines have taken effect. Bags no longer fly for free. And you can't even pay for your bag round trip. You got to pay for it both. You got to pay single. You got to put two charges on your card. You can't pay for it when you buy your your ticket. You got to wait till you check in. And anyway, the CEO of Southwest said, well, just don't check a bag.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he did. Just don't check a bag. Now, I flew Southwest this past month twice, 2 different trips of 4 different legs. 3 of those legs were either delayed or not on time. Only one of those legs was actually... So in one of them, the app told us we had taken off and we were still sitting in the terminal. It's like, oh, that's how they keep their on-time record. They just pretend they took off. But my point is, in every one of those flights, they were adamant, folks, this plane is fully sold out. And you gotta put, you can only have so much. So you can only have so much carry-on, and they're starting to enforce carry-on rules. Now, I've seen people taking 50-pound bags on their backpack and trying to call it a carry-on and not able to. But so they're saying, you can't do this. You're going to have to check it at the gate. And the CEO is saying, oh, don't check a bag. It's okay. And Southwest is projecting to make $1 billion this year on bag fees.
I mean, it's the same kind of thing happening. Part of it is just pure greed. I understand part of it is necessity. All right, I got it. But I look at the same thing at hotels. There used to be, I could go to a hotel and I pay my money to stay at the hotel and I can park for free.
Yeah.
Now, or if I wanted valet, I would pay a little extra. I would pay, right? But if I'm doing the self-parking, there's no charge. Now, there are very few hotels where you get free parking. It's $25, $35, $45 a night.
Yep.
Now, I mean, think about that. I'm paying just to park my car. I'm paying almost a fourth of what it's costing me to stay in this doggone hotel.
Yep.
You can't get a so-called decent hotel room for under $150. Right.
Yep. And then you throw on a $25 or $30 parking fee on top of that. It's
and that's per night too.
Yeah, exactly, for night. My kids, one of my youngest just moved out and got her first apartment with a couple of friends, right? And there's 3 of them, and it's a 3-bedroom apartment, but it only comes with 2 parking spaces. And if you're parked after 10 p.m., it's $5 a night to park. So, if you have a friend over, what 18, 20-year-old isn't having a friend over once in a while?
Yep.
Don't bring a car because it's good. We've gotten to a point where we charge for everything. Soon enough, they're going to be charging us to sit down in the waiting area of your local doctor's office, or your appointment's at 11. And we need you to be there 25 minutes early, and it's $1 a minute to sit down and wait for your appointment. Check your bag for $35, $50, and if you'd like to sit in a seat while you wait, that'll be an extra $10.
Or maybe we're going to raise the gas prices so high that nobody can afford to drive a car. We're all going to be on scooters and bikes, right, to be able to afford to travel. It's amazing. They say gas prices are now at the highest that they've ever recorded since, I think, probably back in the oil embargo back in the early 70s, right?
Right. Yep.
72, 3, 4, around that era. Now, this has the potential to blow that out of the water, right? I was thinking about this oil thing the other day, and now they're blowing up refineries and processing plants. It's going to take a minute to get that stuff back online, right? Having spent a little time in the oil and gas business, understanding a little bit about what that whole thing is, that stuff takes a lot. First, you got to clean up, because when you blow it up, all the gas that's in the storage tank or the processing is everywhere, or the oil. But airline prices are going to go up for a minute, including your bag, right? And I'm sure that our president, somewhere in the back of their mind, if you think he has some strategic, or somebody with some strategic, they thought they were going to get some Venezuelan oil coming in, but ain't nobody going down there to process that. So now we got an oil situation that can explode. Cuba is now in darkness. They got no oil. They can't generate nothing. I mean, we're creating a powder keg, if you will, for humanity right now.
Yep. Exactly. Interestingly enough, I think it was an Onion article, so I'm pretty sure this wasn't a real quote, but I saw a meme that said, using a Trump "I did that" sticker on the gas pump would be considered an act of treason.
What?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Onion. I didn't see the whole quote, but I think it's really funny that that was the big thing a handful of years ago, is a sticker of Biden saying "I did that" with his finger pointing up. And as is typical, somebody made one for Trump, and I looked at him. I realized the photo they're using is a photo of him when, if you remember, he looked up at the solar eclipse and was pointing at the solar eclipse. And that's the picture they're using for the "I did that" Trump sticker that are out there. So I did that, squinting at the solar eclipse. Kind of funny. But that, he's got our bonehead of the week statement.
Yeah.
And I think he does. I'm pretty sure at this point, he just figures, I'll just say whatever stupid shit comes into my head because I know it'll make the liberals mad. But in a meeting with the ambassador of Japan, the Japanese ambassador and a woman, she kind of chided Trump a little bit for not giving our allies, of which Japan is an ally, of not giving our allies a little bit of a heads up that, hey, we're going to invade Iran, which would seem like, maybe you don't have to give them days ahead of time, but let them know, make sure they don't find out by reading the news in the morning, and give our allies a little heads up. Hey, we're going to go to war we're going to create a major war on the planet. And Trump's response was, well, you didn't warn us about Pearl Harbor. And from the video, you can't really tell if the man is serious or, he doesn't give away his jokes very well. So you can't tell if it's meant as a joke. Some news outlets are reporting that this was a joke. Some are reporting that this was just the most idiotic thing in the world for a president to say. Because if you don't remember, Donald, they weren't our allies at the time. So,
and we turned around and dropped a nuclear bomb. So is that a precursor to what we're trying to do in Iran?
Exactly. Should we have given them the warning, the heads up that we were going to drop a nuclear bomb on them? It's like, absolutely ridiculous. And more reporting on, I forget his first name, Mr. Kent, the head of the counterterrorism unit, walked away in disgust this week from the administration, resigned his position with some very strong statements that there was no indication whatsoever that Iran was in any way preparing to attack American interests on the planet.
And immediately what happened? They put the FBI on him. So now they put the FBI on him to scare him to death so he shuts up.
Yep, exactly. Pam Bondi, there have been articles of impeachment filed against Pam Bondi for weaponizing the DOJ, for lying to Congress. We'll see where that goes. Someone's flying drones over Barksdale Air Force Base, which is where Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio live. So if you didn't know, folks, some of our greatest politicians live on Air Force bases because they're afraid to live in the public areas. I can't blame them. I don't think they would do very well living in Scottsdale.
Oh my God.
Or Alexandria, Virginia, or anywhere. So it's now being reported that waves of 10 to 15 drones at a time were flying in restricted airspace over Barksdale Air Force Base. Barksdale Air Force Base was under a shelter-in-place order March 9th. These excursions continued throughout the week, and officials believe that some entity, no one knows yet for sure, but some entity was testing the security apparatus at Barksdale. None of them were shot down, no incidences, and no further reporting no reporting as of the 14th or the 15th of the month. So as far as we know, there have not been any further excursions, but waves of drones flying into restricted airspace, collections of drones. Somebody's going to hit in the U.S. soon, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you think about it. This was supposed to be, if you will. I mean, here's my thing about, I'm a strategy guy, if you will, which means when you come to deal with strategies, you look at possibilities of what could happen, or what could happen if certain things happen, and then the strategy is, how do I navigate it, right? How do I deal with known and some unknown consequences of my action? Well, right now, whoever, whether it was Israel who pushed us, or we pushed Israel, or we did it together to get this thing started, now they got this whole thing in Lebanon, right? They're displacing again. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do to Lebanon what they did to the Palestinians out there in Palestine. They're bombing like crazy. And the whole region, Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, that whole little thing is a mess now, which borders on Turkey. Iran borders Turkey. I mean, see, here's the thing that's for me. We live in a holistic, connected world, and all this stuff, you cannot just look at it as isolated things. Strategy says I have to look at all of it and then focus on a thing, understanding the repercussions. Right now, these repercussions, man, again, battle lines will be drawn.
Right.
And it will be like any other world wars. It will take a small thing for people to line up more intently on one side or the other with money and people and guns, and unfortunately unnecessary death of innocent people because somebody's trying to get a statue or a gold coin named after them. I guess, I don't know.
Somebody's trying to get a gold coin. Yeah, exactly. I don't. I'm afraid to find out what's we're gonna end up selling they're gonna sell the gold coins at like $5 a piece, right? It's $1 coin, but they're gonna charge you $5 for them because Trump needs to pay for parking.
Right. Right. And we need the celebrity of it, right? I mean, we should have known when he had his program that his whole thing was about celebrity. That one thing we talked about earlier is this whole paradigm between a personality driven universe, if you will, and a character and principle centered universe. We should have known at some point his true colors of personality, which this whole show was, you're fired, you know, this whole thing about control, and I know everything, and I got all the answers, and we should have known that that was going to come out at some point.
Yep. I believe a lot of us did, right? A lot of people did. We should go back and pull up some of our shows from, and because we did see it coming, and a lot of people, for whatever reason, voted for their self-interests, voted for their misplaced beliefs that he was actually going to solve things. I mean, I seem to remember Donald Trump promising to wipe out the national debt. Well, the national debt is up $11 million this year, or I'm sorry, $11 trillion this year.
Yeah.
And it just topped out at 39 trillion, just went over $39 trillion of national debt. I didn't see what the breakdown is per person, per heartbeat in the country at this point, but $11 trillion in debt in the past 3 to 5 months, I think it said, something like that, 3 or 5 months. And he promised to wipe out the debt. He at a certain point, if Trump was a hired CEO of a Fortune 500 or a Fortune 100 company, the stockholders would have said, "You're out of here, dude. You're
fired.
You're fired." Like, no, you can't keep doing this with the company money. You can't take the company jet. You can't tear down the company headquarters. And yet, there are still people out there swearing he is the best president we've ever had, and still standing as if he actually got his ear shot off.
You know, here as I'm thinking about all these, as they say, there's wars and rumors of wars. A lot of these are being conducted, if you will, under some pretense of an event that happened hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. And we're still carrying that banner, even though it doesn't even exist anymore. And it doesn't, the conditions are different. I mean, these conflicts causing innocent people to be harmed.
Yeah.
And he's gonna, you know, and now we're talking about we're humanitarians and he got an office of peace and all of this, but we finna spend another $200 billion to do war, not 200 billion. You know what $200 billion could do to rectify some of the ills that we got here in terms of food insecurity and housing problems? And I mean, we could bring the temperature down on human relations.
Yeah.
A ton.
We could pay that Doge rebate that we were all promised. I'm still waiting for my Doge check. They tell me it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I think spiritually, this is a call for us to examine where we are in two places: time and space, given the power and the information technology where we are. How do we better use that? And how am I putting myself in right relationship with the trajectory of where we are, if we want to stay on a viable planet?
Yeah.
I mean, you think about right now, all of the farmers are saying, look, everybody's talking about gas. Yeah, I need gas for my tractors, but I can't get my fertilizer either, because they're on the trucks. I mean, on the boats in the strait, which means food prices are going to go up, because, or it's going to be less available, which is going to make it go up because I can't fertilize.
Well, it's going to be a beautiful day on the 28th, folks. A week from tomorrow, the next No Kings rally all across the country, locations near you. And it looks like the weather is just going to be absolutely fabulous to get out and march. Get out and let your voice be heard. Remember, we're talking peaceful protesting here. We're not talking about getting violent. We're not talking about keep it peaceful. But temperatures in Denver projected to be in the mid to upper 70s. It'll be a gorgeous day to get out and spend the afternoon at your local state capitol or whatever local city is hosting a No Kings rally. They're happening all over the country. And we have to, I think now more than ever, we have to keep up the pressure. We have to keep up the visual that there is a vast majority of Americans that do not believe in what's happening and what we're doing in our country right now. And it's time to start cutting out the cancer.
Yeah. And hopefully you don't have to fly, because if you do, you need to start traveling right now, because the lines at all these airports, these major airports, if you haven't seen it, are ridiculous, because the TSA guys are quitting and gals are quitting and taking other jobs and calling in sick. And I mean, we understand that there's a power greater than us and we can use it. And for those who have the wherewithal and the understanding of that, we need to start doing it, whether it's in consciousness or in action, right? It takes both. But we have to be aware that I saw, the newscast last night, in all the major airports, Chicago, New York, Atlanta, and there was one other one. I think it may have been Philly, and people may not call that a major airport, but the lines, they're saying you need to be at the airport 3 hours before your flight now, not to get comfortably at your gate, just to make it through the friggin' line.
Yeah. Well, when I was, so I flew in and out of Denver a couple times in this month, and they're soliciting gift cards for TSA agents. So over the PA, they're inviting people to donate gift cards so the TSA agents can afford gasoline to get to work and food to feed their families. And to me, that's one of the biggest things, is that everything this administration does is not designed to help the people of America. It's designed to hurt the people of America.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm going to be flying in a few days, and I'll get a gift card to take, right? Because these people who are being imposed upon are just trying to do the job and take care of their family and live, right? And now we are in a stymie because our leaders, people we have entrusted to do the right thing, to have the concerns of the people at hand, again, it seems to be about their personality. Can I get a TikTok? Can I get a reel? Can I get a short YouTube about, me? Right? And I'm like, I get it. Yeah. I mean, you got to get your message out there, but not at the expense of doing your job.
Right.
And then at what point, are you capitalizing on this monetarily? And we know, money corrupts absolutely, that you begin to compromise everything because you get used to a lifestyle and access and so forth because of your power, as we started in the beginning with Cesar Chavez, and your resources or access to resources, things, or people, and you get sideways in what it is you're here to do.
Yep, exactly. Well, folks, there we have it. It's another beautiful Friday in America, and we encourage you to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Be a part of the conversation. Be a part of the change. Be a part of what's coming next. And remember, some of our heroes have feet of clay. It doesn't discount the good work that was done, but it also doesn't mean that we have to continue to celebrate them when we realize the good work was done on the back of others.
Yeah. And I would say, as we continue to travel this journey, this is a time for us to center ourselves and learn how to hold complexities without collapse into fear, right? Because
Yep.
and that we have to be steadfast in practical micro actions of peace. Little small things. We know if a single drop of water is consistently dropped on a granite rock, over time it will drill a hole through that granite, one of the hardest rocks on the planet.
Yeah.
And that's how we have to begin to look at this thing. We have to be centered. We have to understand the complexities of what we're dealing with without collapsing to fear. And then we have to practice micro actions of service and peace so that we can remember our job is not to solve all the problems. Our job is to do what it is we're here to do, what we've chosen to do, what we've become skilled to do, whatever that is, to make the world, i.e. the humanity that's on this place, remember who we are.
Yep. There we have it. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here for now, let you get back into your morning, but please do stay with us. Thanks for being a part of what we're doing here on the New Thought Media Network. If it's in your ability to serve and support this network financially, we encourage you to do so. We're going to take a quick moment here to say thank you to our organizational sponsors and individual donors. And we'll be back next Friday with more Ministers Talking Shit, as well as join Reverend Elzia and I on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Mountain Time for New Thought Today. We'd love to see you where we have more in-depth interviews and conversations with other leaders in the New Thought movement. Until next time, we wish you peace and richest blessings.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you.